Hello from Jonathan and me. Welcome to the programme.
First tonight, a hospital named, shamed and fined for terrible failures is again at the centre of a storm of criticism after the death of a young patient.
Lisa Sharp was 21 when she died in Basildon Hospital. It's taken 6 years for her mother to get answers, and those have had to come from an official ombudsman who found a series of problems in the way Lisa was treated. Tom Barton reports.
It may be 6 years since Lisa Sharp died at Basildon Hospital, but her mum Mary remembers it like it was yesterday.
It was horrific. You think it's... Well, you still think it's a nightmare. I mean, you wake up, you still see her face, one smiling and one choking, and, there's nothing you can do.
Lisa suffered from a condition called Ray's syndrome. It left her with severe brain damage. She couldn't walk or sit up and had only basic speech. In 2004, at the age of 21, she was taken into Basildon Hospital for an operation. But after complications, she developed pneumonia. Her family have long felt the care she received was below standard and have been fighting to find out exactly what happened. Now 7 failings have been identified in a damning report by the Parliamentary and Health Service Ombudsman. They include a lack of basic nursing care and a failure to take appropriate professional responsibility for Lisa.
When you hear about very basic nursing care not having been attended to with Lisa, it's kind of no excuse to say that she had a severe disability and it was challenging for staff to care for her, because actually some of the things they didn't do were the things you'd expect them to do in any situation.
Nobody from the hospital was willing to answer our questions on camera today. I did, though, speak to a hospital representative on the phone. She was keen to point out that it's 6 years since Lisa died, and she told me that in that time they've made a number of improvements to the way they deal with vulnerable patients. Lisa Sharp died in 2004, but Basildon Hospital's more recent history has been troubled. In November last year, inspectors from the Care Quality Commission began action against the hospital after finding blood-spattered equipment and floors. In the same month, Basildon and Thurrock hospitals were named as the worst performing in the country. In April this year, the Care Quality Commission said urgent action must be taken to improve patient safety at Basildon. And in June, the hospital was fined £90,000 over the death of Kyle Flack. Kyle was a severely disabled young man who died at the hospital in 2006 when his head became trapped between the bars on his bed.
In 2004, when my daughter's death occurred, and I did say things have to change because there's going to be more. Maybe if they had put something in place then, maybe, who knows, what happened later might not have done.
Lisa's family hope that those lessons have finally been learned. The hospital says that this has happened, but today's news will undoubtedly affect the confidence of patients in their local hospital.
Well, Tom's at Basildon Hospital for us now. Tom, it was a lengthy list of problems you showed us in your report. What a lot of people want to know this evening is, has the hospital genuinely improved since Lisa's death?
Well, Jonathan, first thing to say is that the hospital say that they have improved. They admit that there have been serious problems in the past and say that they've learned from their mistakes. In fact, a hospital spokeswoman went as far as to suggest to me that they're now among the leaders in this field. Among the changes they've made are to introduce a specialist nursing advisor to deal with cases like that of Lisa. They also now assess every patient with learning difficulties within 24 hours of them coming into the hospital, and they've set up a patient and carers forum to advise the hospital on how it can continue to improve. However, I spoke earlier today to Gillian Flack. She's the mother of Kyle Flack, who you heard mentioned in my report there, the lad who died in 2006. She told me these improvements are too little, too late.
Thank you, Tom. Families of service personnel killed in Afghanistan were honoured today when Prince Harry visited RAF Honington in Suffolk.
It's his first visit since he was appointed Honorary Air Commandant of the base by the Queen in 2008.
The Prince has been busy handing out awards. Last night, support for the forces from those back home was recognised, with 2 teenagers from Essex scooping a top prize, as Andrea Johnston reports.
Ben Coombs and Nathan Ball were off. These two teenagers from Rayleigh and Essex are officially friends of the forces. Through raffles and events, Ben Coombs and Nathan Bull have helped their school raise over £2,000 for the Royal British Legion. Their efforts were recognised last night at an awards ceremony led by a proud prince.
It was really nice, it was kind, and he said well done to us quite a lot. He was proud of what we'd done as well. I don't think he'd seen many people of our age actually doing what we've done.
From honouring those who support the troops to honouring the troops themselves. Today Prince Harry visited RAF Honington, where he was shown the armoured carriers which experts used to detect deadly gases during battle. He was then tasked with officially opening a new junior ranks mess. He made quite an impression, especially on those whose husbands are serving.
He's been away since January the 19th, so it's been quite a while, but we're getting to the end of it now. So meeting Harry today has been a nice run up to Sunday, so yeah, it's been brilliant.
He sort of told me that they do have some fun out there as well, and that they do have a few little parties now and then, which I didn't realise and my husband hasn't mentioned, so I'll have to ask him about that. But it was really nice, you know, we had a bit of a laugh about that, and he's just really easy to talk to. Nice to meet him, definitely.
In a private ceremony, the Prince met relatives of senior aircraftsman Luke Southgate, who came from Bury St Edmunds. He died in an explosion in Afghanistan in February. The family were presented with the Elizabeth Cross, as were the family of Sergeant John Langton, who was killed in 2006. He'd been based at RAF Honington earlier in his career.
It's particularly important to know that people like Prince Harry are right there with us, and as you know, he served out there himself. And it's a huge shot in the arm for people who are out there fighting right now, but also people back here at Honington who are training for future operations in Afghanistan.
Later this year, Prince Harry will start further Apache helicopter training at Wattisham Airfield in Suffolk, so it won't be long until he's back in our region. Andrea Johnston, Anglia News.
An important day for RAF Honington there. Now, 4 days ago, he was walking out at the World Cup final in front of an estimated global audience of 750 million.
Today, Darren Cann was back at home in Norfolk, but there's little chance to relax for one of the match officials from the showdown between Holland and Spain.
Yep, tomorrow he's involved in another stressful experience, moving house, but he still found time to speak to Malcolm Robertson and reflect on his 6 weeks in South Africa, where he collected some impressive souvenirs.
To receive the honour of the World Cup final appointment itself is literally a dream come true, and it was a very special feeling walking down the tunnel and seeing the World Cup actually on the pitch, just sort of 10 metres onto the field itself. So to be that close to the wonderful trophy was a very special feeling. You wouldn't be able to perform effectively if you thought of all the hundreds of millions of people watching, and of course the 85,000 people in the stadium and what's at stake. So you have to almost park that emotion once you get your match head on 10 minutes before the game, but you certainly are aware of the importance.
And here's Andres Iniesta, winner! Van Bommel being pulled away from Howard Webb. Beaten finalists for the third time. It's too difficult to take.
We didn't feel threatened at all. They just showed a little bit of disappointment, but we understand that.
Hear the reaction from the Dutch fans. What a shame.
The vast majority of supporters in the stadium were Dutch, and you know, it's understandable that they were disappointed that their team had lost. So it's part and parcel of a referee's world, I'm afraid.
Oh, 2-2! He's offside. The flag is up! The flag's up against Quagliarella!
At the end of that match, Howard was presented with the match ball, and he very kindly gave me the ball, and he said that I perhaps deserved the ball more than him for the decisions in that match. So that will be in pride of place in our new home. Trained every day with the sound of the vuvuzelas in the background, so we had 20 loudspeakers all around the pitch, and as I say, every day we trained with that noise, so when it came to match day itself, it just felt very normal for us. One of my abiding memories will be the people of South Africa, who were so friendly, so proud of their country. It really was 6 magical weeks. The World Cup is so special for referees, for players, for spectators, for everyone involved in football, and it's certainly an experience that I would like to repeat again. And hopefully to Brazil, the World Cup in 2014, that's the next sort of long-term target.
Oh.
What a fantastic experience for him. Do you think he feels really flat now being back?
I suppose it's a bit difficult, moving house tomorrow, pack up those boxes.
That's true. Right.